Well, at least I'm wrong. If the definition of mixed bag needs a photo, this chapter would do it justice. For what I assume is the end of the arc, the battle of two villains have reached to the conclusion, one in which challenged Game of Thrones Season 8 pacing. By that, I mean, what a rush! Literally. While the future content could be interesting, the execution here was underwhelming, unearned, and possibly damaging. I assume this chapter is the end of the arc with the inclusion of Spinner as the narrator. It began with him narrating, so ending it seems fitting. Jumping ahead, he wasn't much of a character here, which is a shame considering his background can be relatable. I mean, it has some elements, but he's cool being a lackey, so problem solved. Couldn't even get a fight of his own, let alone a victory. Oh well, it's time for the showcase of Shigaraki's earth-shattering attack. The way how it's set up leave me an impression that everyone in Metal Liberation Army will be wiped out. As sad as that may sound, let alone ridiculousness on the power level, I'm ready to accept it. Who knows? It could have a cool send-off. Honestly, I vision in my head how this will end well for the team, maintaining their pride and die with their fellow leader. If you are unfamiliar with one of the major cons of Game of Thrones Season 8, this chapter will be a great example. Once Shigaraki does the attack, as expected, it can destroy a city. It may not be the entire landscape, but it's good enough to intimidate anyone. Plus, large destruction equal powerful is the concept this series follows. So, welcome to Shonen. The visual is pretty cool though, largely on the emphasis of Shigaraki's joy of destruction. Redestro tries to dodge it, but soon overwhelmed to the point you would think he has died. Instead, he has lost his legs since it was touched earlier. That could leave room for a sinister end for him. Remember, villain versus villain concept can allow killing in a dark, cruel way, like how Toga did it to Curious. This could make Shigaraki scary as a person, and how he would make an example out of anyone who dares to start a feud. If only. Instead, Redestro surrenders to Shigaraki. Okay, that would have been partially fine, though he comes off as a wimp and not as prideful as he started off in the very beginning, sort of betraying his character in a way. But it doesn't end there. Not only he surrenders, but he gives his army to the League of Villains. Why? Because he has been enlightened by Shigaraki's desire for destruction. He has shown great example of Destro's ambition, the one who embodied freedom itself. But you started a war based on it. And because you saw a clear picture, you instantly become someone's tool? Oh, and Giganto Machia and Spinner are practically convinced by Shigaraki's prowess. So, it's like killing 3 birds with 1 stone. Or hell, an army of birds with 1 damn stone. Which means he and the League have gained tremendous power. All because Deku have to get a power that will make the Sage of Six Paths proud. Let's start with the positive. The League of Villains have gained crap load of arsenals in a matter of a day. They went from 0 to, well, not 0. They have the lab with multiple high ends, Giganto Machia, special bullets to damage quirks, even though that's before this arc, but still, an army, and money. Not to mention, they are powered up. More importantly, they are seen as a threat. So for the future content, it could lead to interesting possibilities. If anything, it's the idea of what lies ahead that helped this chapter more so than the content itself. It's good to theorize, but when look at the execution, it's pretty poor. First of all, the rebound for the league is unbelievable. They become a major threat at a rapid rate, only because some of the heroes, largely on Deku, will soon become overpowered themselves. This wouldn't happen if the balance was justified, but instead it falls under the same problem as Naruto. There, the protagonists have grown powerful, so it's logical for the antagonist to grow even more so within an arc. Hell, one was done multiple times within an arc like some bargain sales. Second, Redestro practically became something that rhymes with ditch in a matter of a battle. Where did it indicate he wanted to be free, as if to say, he is suffering long enough with Destro's idea that he wants someone to take over, if only someone worthy can carry that mantle. When all things considered, he pulled the coolest guy ever, only for the villain side. What happened to that prideful self? An image that would be converted drastically. He was seriously hell-bent on his pride. But now, bow down? Because of reasons? I felt more sympathetic or attached to a villain from another series who I don't even think ever given a name, yet struck me with feels. Look, it could have worked, but it was incredibly rushed, much similar to that character who turned evil from Game of Thrones. More exploration and time would help a lot. Even if he gets a flashback down the road, the image didn't support the cause, so it felt like a revision was done. Kind of like how Overhaul doesn't show much of a germ-phobic. Hell, he'd probably get Talk no Jutsu again, but this time by Deku. On the plus side, at least we will get more of him later. Bonus, the army is no longer fodders for the villain. Now they're fodders for the hero. One in honor. My main pet peeve is how it essentially made the arc underwhelming, and in hindsight, needlessly dragged on. This could have been done within a volume. Hell, the one that is out right now in Japan. I know we have gotten backstories and developments of some, but in terms of battle, it did nothing but stretch time for this type of conclusion. It's even funnier to realize how Curious is the only named casualty and defeat out of everyone. I guess we can't have two females within the league. Kishimoto will be so proud. It's sad though, because this arc should have been different. It involved with two villains that have nothing to shy away from going ultra violent. It started off promising with Toga's victory. After that, it's the same old stuff with some limbs lost. Yeah, I know we have people dying, but in a dusty way. You can lie to your kids and say, "Don't worry, son, they went to the next dimension." And the fans said this was very dark. Shigaraki's backstory, sure, but what backstory isn't dark in any series these days? Perhaps the chapter can be seen as bad or even damaging to the arc itself. It's the potential for the future content that would leave a better impression. The visual is pretty good, but the rest is questionable. One would ask, but Sparta, wouldn't you complain still if Redestro was killed instead? The answer is, it's always been a double-edged sword, and both are sharp. I don't know if Kohi was told to rush this arc, but this should have been much better. I don't know if the arc ends here, but I'm ready to go back to the hero side. Probably. And that will do it for the review. I hope you enjoyed this one. I remember there was a thread that reads, "Making My Hero Academia great again." Probably one day I should check it out, and maybe I should leave a comment as well. So what do you think of this chapter? If this is the last chapter of the arc, what do you think of the arc itself? Share your thoughts in the comment section. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel, and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.